A sadistic killer that preyed upon young boys while they slept in the safety of their own beds left the community paralyzed with fear, with several children murdered or emotionally scarred for life. For years, the survivors were only able to describe this attacker as a large man wearing a scary costume mask. Let's find out together why and how the masked man stalked children. This channel is about lesser known serial killers. If you're interested, I upload new content every Tuesday and Thursday. Well, if you're ready, let's get started. It all started in 1992 in the country of Germany. A young child whose name was not provided was a resident of a child's home. It was late that evening and most of the other children were asleep and there was limited staff available. The child was walking down the corridor that took him away from the residential part of the children's home, which was isolated. Why he decided to go for a walk late one evening wasn't divulged, but suddenly, in this alleged isolated area, he heard a strange noise. He stopped for a second in silence to listen in order to identify the sound, or at least locate where it was stemming from, but he heard nothing. So he continued undeterred, walking down the darkened hallway to this unspecified destination. After a few twists and turns down several hallways, he observed what he thought was someone hiding behind some type of obstruction. Allegedly, the child called out in order to let the person know that they had been seen. The stranger continued to just stand there as if the child wasn't talking to him. After several yells at the stranger identifying his position, a man emerged from behind the obstruction wearing a costume mask. The masked man lunged at the child in an attempt to grab him by the arms. The child squirmed and fought the attacking stranger while the man attempted to remove the child's pants. The child's screaming startled the masked man, which allowed the child to break free. The young child ran for his life back in the direction that he came from. Because the child wasn't harmed and the attacker wasn't found, allegedly no one believed the child's story. This was short-lived until the community realized that this attack was the first of many successful assaults that were followed by several murders. For the next several months, the masked man returned multiple times, sexually assaulting several of the children as they slept in their dormitory. The administrator of the children's home had all the doors' locks changed and motion detectors added, which caused the burglaries to cease. At a children's boarding home several cities away, the masked man burglarized the school and attacked a 10-year-old child, entering the bathroom one evening. While the child was using the stall, the masked man snuck behind, grabbed, and then carried the young boy into the next room to assault him. The child survived, but with emotional scars. Within the span of 12 years, these attacks continued to escalate throughout the area. Private homes, summer camps, and schools became the masked man's hunting grounds. In some cases where the masked man was able to completely abduct the children from where he located them from, he would just murder them. Allegedly, he buried 2 children alive and another by drowning in a local lake. The authorities in the countries of France and the Netherlands recognized similar attacks and killings of young boys during the hiatus periods that took place in Germany. The masked man was believed to be responsible for 2 homicides in the previously mentioned countries. German authorities formed a task force in order to apprehend this mass killer. In 2010, witnesses observed one of the reported missing children with a stranger walking together in a local forest. The authorities were able to locate the man, and another survivor identified the man as his attacker. The killer was identified as Martin Ney, who was an elementary school teacher. When he was questioned by the authorities, he confessed to 3 murders and 20 sexual assaults and was charged accordingly. The police believed that he was responsible for 4 additional homicides and 45 sexual assaults of young boys in various countries, but he could not be charged due to lack of evidence. Martin was given a prison sentence of life. If you enjoy more stories such as these, click on one of the suggested videos above. God bless and stay safe.